Well, for more on all this, let's bring in Republican Congressman Wesley Hunt from Texas. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. What do you make of the president stiffing the folks in East Palestine while going to Ukraine, a war zone, which, by the way, there is no U.S. presence there?
It's an absolute travesty. It's a slap in the face on President's Day to this nation. And by the way, this visit by the president is late. Like the supplies that we got to the Ukrainians were late. Like the weapons that we should have gotten to them were late. And not only is he not visiting Ohio, he's also not visiting our southern border right here in Texas. And we've seen 5.5 million people enter this country illegal while on his watch. On this President's Day, what I want to see is a leader that wants to put our priorities first, put our country first. And I understand there's a fight going on abroad, but right now the fight is right here in this country, and I want to see our commander-in-chief lead from the front right here.
You know, by the way, you mentioned the beginnings of all this, in which a lot of people advised him to do things that he wasn't doing. He even said something extraordinary right before the invasion, saying, well, kind of implicating that a mild incursion, remember that phrase, would be okay. That would be fine. Well, if that didn't send off the Russians, I don't know what did.
Well, we saw weakness from the very beginning. We saw weakness with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. We've seen weakness with the lateness in which we responded to the Ukrainians. We've seen weakness with the way he's handled China, with the way he's handled Russia, and every single international dispute that we're having across the world, he gets an F for. And this is why these countries feel like they can fly balloons over our country without recourse. Yeah. He is late, and he is not putting our priorities first.
Well, and then we're talking about East Palestine and not putting our definite immediate emergency concerns first. You know, we spent well over $100 billion in Ukraine with very little accountability, apparently. And you know, even things like, I know this has been disputed, but back in April, he said something about pensions, spending money for pensions in Ukraine. And then I think we have the soundbite. He just recently kind of doubled up on that. Do you have that soundbite? Go ahead, roll tape.
Thanks to bipartisan support in Congress, this week we're delivering billions in direct budgetary support, which the government can put to use immediately and help provide for basic services of citizens. The cost that Ukraine has had to bear has been extraordinarily high.
So, Congressman, are these Ukraine subsidies just getting out of control?
I think not only is it getting out of control, there's absolutely no accountability as to where these funds are going. And look, I understand helping our allies abroad financially, but you bring up Ohio and what's happening right here domestically. I think a lot of people are feeling like we as a country are being left out. We as a country are not a priority to our commander-in-chief and to this administration. And if we're going to spend $113 billion for a country abroad to fight a war, what's happening right here in Ohio? What's happening right here at our own southern border? And again, in my lifetime, sir, this has been the worst inflation I've seen in my lifetime, the worst border crisis I've seen in my lifetime. There's been an assault on the oil and gas industry to the likes we have never seen in 40 years. And our president on President's Day is in the Ukraine and not here in the United States defending our way of life and our rights.
All right. I want to switch to the whole controversy over woke policies, because the president's right in the middle of that. He came out with a new executive order last week on racial equity. And it's important to use that word equity. We're not talking about equal opportunity, but equal outcomes. So again, the question is whether he's putting the color of somebody's skin above the quality of their service or what they can provide. I'm just wondering what you make of this. This, by the way, would affect all federal government jobs, and it would also affect a lot of loans that the federal government makes to the private sector.
Look at what's happening in the world today. We don't need social justice warriors. We need just flat out warriors. We need American warriors that are willing to fight our country's wars. And as a West Point graduate, and my sister's a West Point graduate, and my brother's a West Point graduate, and we have all been black for a very long time, and 60 years worth of military service, our military is a meritocracy. I am not interested in what someone looks like. I'm not interested in a race, religion, color, or creed. I want to know that they're going to have my back when it's time to fight a war. and that needs to be the emphasis moving forward for our military. The United States Military Academy is called the United States Military Academy, capital M in military, and that needs to be the focus moving forward for our fighting force.
You know, we see the same sort of attacks on excellence, because excellence should be our creed as a nation. It has been.
Yes.
It certainly was when you were at West Point. I think you were a 2004 graduate, and it continues to be. But a lot of people in the military, including some members of my family in the military, are worried that that kind of might seep into the military. Are you concerned about that?
I'm worried about it more so from the standpoint of the message that we're sending to the entire world. What message are we sending to China?
Yes.
What message are we sending to Vladimir Putin? We are far more interested in social justice and pronouns than we are in war fighting. And again, that's why we're seeing UFOs and balloons being flown over our country from foreign nations, because there is zero respect, because they know that we cannot be taken seriously. We've got to refocus our military, refocus our task on what's the most important thing, that's protecting our sovereign nation. That's it.
Well, we're also kind of seeing the same attacks on excellence in our school system, where a lot of these advanced programs are being attacked and sometimes removed by woke politicians, not always from the top down, but including folks in the Department of Education. What they are avoiding is the failure of our school system, because meanwhile, while they're adding all of these woke courses in schools, they are failing. We had Baltimore, I think it was 23 Baltimore schools with 0 students proficient in math. 0. We had in Illinois, 53 Illinois high schools failing to achieve grade school proficiency. So while they're loading up on stuff that is very controversial and probably doesn't help the students adjust to a modern world, on the basics, they're doing terribly. They're failing, literally.
We're failing them in the classroom, and then we are calling parents that want to participate in school board meetings domestic terrorists at the same time. You can't have it both ways. I talk about my family and my background is because my parents were the ones that made sure that we got an education. They were the ones that made sure we had our priorities right, and they were engaged in our lives. And they weren't relying on the government to do that. They actually took the power within their abilities to ensure that their children were raised the right way. And that's exactly the direction that would need to be taken. We are seeing what's happening when we leave the education of our children to the government. We're seeing CRT. Right. We aren't focusing on math and reading and arithmetic. What we are focusing on are things that have nothing to do with furthering the greatness of our nation.
By the way, I want to go a step further. The Department of Education, which actually in my lifetime was started under Jimmy Carter, $90 billion a year right now. That's how much they get for a failing record. I mean, they have failed. That doesn't include, by the way, $180 billion they got in COVID relief for K through 12 education. Yes. Why don't we just get rid of the department and spread the money out for school choice programs?
Well, we absolutely need to do a deep dive in that. And this, interesting enough, you're bringing up school choice. I'm a product of school choice. I drove 1 hour one way every single day to attend a private school right here in the greater Houston area. And that's kind of sacrifices that my parents made for us to be able to do that. And what I want to see is I want to see us as a country investing in those young people and in those families that want to make that kind of sacrifice just so they can have better. It's clear that the $90 billion is failing us all, but what can we do to empower the individual student and the individual family to do better for themselves? That's why I'm a Republican. I am all about making sure that we have an equal shot, but we can't ensure equal outcomes. Yeah. But how can we give people the best opportunity to make the best decisions for themselves?
Well, you're blessed to have grown up in a family like the one that prepared you for the world, and you really helped us save the world in your office when you were captain and flying helicopters. Someday you got to come back and talk about that experience. But we appreciate you being a member of Congress and joining us here today. Congressman Wesley Hunt, thank you very much.
God bless you. It's an honor anytime, and thank you so much. Yeah, you have a great President's Day weekend.
Thanks a lot.